attack Danny
Thank
here,
you.
or
That's what I'm
I
trying to
said
say.
out loud that Danny did what he did. Is there?
Yeah, there's a big difference.
There's
Oh
a
my God,
difference.
no, there's not.
Attacking someone? Sorry, no. I said out loud, yes, that he sexually assaulted Jasmine and Michelle.
All right.
Now, Janet, I do not understand if you just like being talked about each week. And based on what's going on with your social media and you on your podcast, I take it that you pretty much do not like being talked about. It is it is hard to sympathize or empathize with you, and I'm not condoning basically a person's threatening her life or her child's life or anything like that. But it's hard to see you behave this way on TV, but then you are looking for sympathy or for persons to understand where you're coming from. When I feel like you just do this to yourself and you don't care about the repercussions of it, but clearly you do. So, this is where I need you to know, decide what you're looking to do. You're going to play the villain or you want to be the hero, because you can't play both. You can't be a villain and a victim at the same time. You cannot play both. It doesn't work that way. And you tried it season one, and I think it was good for you to get your name out there and not that you blended into the background. But to come back into this season, and I already called it from the beginning, where you tried to came off apologetic because you were trying to filter yourself this season, but you cannot filter who you really are. And it shows that going into the later parts of the season, your true personality comes out. Now, we'll have persons debate say what Danny did was actually sexual assault. But if you're friends with these people, and clearly this has nothing to do with you, and according to other persons, you weren't even actually there that night, I do not understand why is it that you are so hell-bent on constantly repeating stuff and adding more to the story and also using words that, you know, if you're friends with these people, why would you want to say something so serious? Like, use lighter words. Like, aren't you friends with these people? Aren't you trying to reconcile a friendship with these people? Didn't you weren't you already in the pool apologizing for your behavior and basically agreeing to not discuss whatever it is again? So why are you now adding this word to describe his behavior? Before you weren't doing that. So why now you felt like you need to do this to make it a bit more serious? Now, of course, we saw the episode started. We saw where Kristen checked Brittany because Brittany and her big mouth decided to go tell Jax that Kristen is engaged. She hasn't told her family as yet or anything. And of course, Brittany, I don't know what is going on in your mental. It is each week, and I'm praying that current day you're actually a bit stronger, because each week you just show yourself more and more. And this is why I feel like Jax feels like he can continue to play or poke at you, because you seem to not necessarily have a mind of your own. And you clearly seem like you rely so heavily on him. And I understand it's your person and you're used to talking to him, but I think the first minute that you decide to take up the phone and have a conversation with him should have been like a red flag in your head because of all what he has done, especially when he was supposedly in rehab. So it's confusing this opportunity to build some sort, because that's all I can think of. Because you said they were on the phone regarding school stuff, so I don't know how school stuff turned into, you know, blabbing your mouth to say that Kristen is engaged when she already specifically said she doesn't want anybody to be posting anything or saying anything because they haven't told their family as yet. And you told the biggest gossiper, the biggest mouthpiece in the group, which is Jax Taylor. I don't know what is going through your mind. And of course, we saw where Christine checks Brittany in regards to how Janet is. She doesn't check Janet. She would check Zach and Kristen in terms of their behavior. But when it comes on to Janet, she basically takes the light approach. And I don't know if it has to do with she's picking a side or she's just afraid of Janet, that Janet will then turn on her. So she feels like to be in the safe zone, she feels like she can't say anything when it comes on to Janet. And I don't know if that's the best approach to take, Brittany, because if you're supposedly friends with these both parties, you clearly see that it's hurting one side of the friend group. And if you feel like because you don't want the wrath on you, just saying if that's the reason, it's not a good approach because you're basically now basically damaging a friendship on the other side just to please one person. And I don't know who the fuck is Janet, why you feel like you need to be hanging on to this friendship with Janet. I don't care how many years because it's not all about years of friendship, but I don't see what is Janet really adding to your life why you feel like I need to continue a friendship with Janet, because clearly Janet doesn't give a fuck about anybody. Janet is all about making TV and playing victim and then playing villain. So I don't see why it is you feel like you need to be constantly trying to repair or keep a friendship with Janet. She doesn't add anything. And you and Kristen, I'm sure, knew each other way longer than you know Janet, because we all know how we got introduced to Brittany. So I don't see why it is that she has Janet to a higher standard. But when it comes on to Kristen and Zach, it's like she feels like she needs to dictate and let them know how to operate and what to do and what to say. It's just confusing to me. Um, next thing is I realize where I think I saw some in a scene where Michelle or one of them were basically saying that Janet got disinvited to the events last night. And that is the thing that is just so annoying to me, because we clearly saw where she was invited, because clearly, bitch, you're on the trip. So you clearly were invited. And second of all, there was a shirt for you to be wearing. So if you weren't invited, why would they make a shirt for you? Third of all, we saw where you spoke with Zach on the phone. You were the one, Janet, who's saying you don't think you should go because whatever the reason might be. So I don't see why it is now the narrative is that she wasn't invited, as if like they brought her onto this Hawaii trip only not to bring her to any of the festivities. Like, this is the problem with Janet. And I don't know how she mentioned the story to Michelle or Brittany, but that is farthest from the truth. And I don't see why that is the narrative, that she wasn't invited on this trip when, or invited to the dinner or the whatever, when you clearly were the one who turned it down, and you and your husband had a little disagreement because you were even wanting to leave the next following day. So how does it turn into now that you basically weren't invited, and now again you want to try to make it feel like it's Kristen's issue? You get me? We got a flashback scene, and this is why I don't know why. Well, maybe it's good that it was a flashback, because I'm just tired of this Danny narrative, where we saw Danny, Jasmine, I believe Michelle. No, not Danny. It was Jasmine, Michelle. No, it was, yeah, Jasmine, Michelle. No, Jasmine, yeah, Michelle, Zach and his partner, and Janet. And she was discussing this thing where her friend, Pink Boots from last season, basically claimed that they were at some place, and it's always at some bar. Like, I don't really believe you guys all hang out like that, honestly speaking. But you guys were at some bar, and again, there was some bachelorette party or something like that. And apparently, Danny decided allegedly went up to these ladies, or these ladies were hanging around him, and he was saying that Nia is up here, and pretty much he likes females in short skirts and whatever. And if this girl is brought back for season 3, I would love to see what her next storyline will be. Because if we're going to drag this Danny of it all over into season 3, I am basically zone. I'm just going to tune out from this show, because when do we get the season finale for this show and the reunion at this point? Because each episode is like we're discussing the same thing. We wrap a storyline up, we wrap something up, and it's like it still keep on lingering and discussing right throughout the entire season. Like, can someone tell me what has Janet shown personally in her life from the beginning of the season? And I'll wait. I haven't seen she shown anything personal. other than pushing her nose into person's business and trying to create an opinion or a storyline out of it because she literally has nothing going for herself. And this is what I need producers to get straight. I know you need someone like a Janet on a show, but we watch these reality shows to be invested in these persons' day-to-day life or reality. And if you, as a producer, see that this person has nothing to tell, no story to tell, why are we casting these people on the show and keeping them on as a main cast, not a friend of or a background person? Why are we keeping them on as a main cast when their storyline, they have nothing personal stories, but all they do is talk about people's business and make opinions that no one asks for? Why are we still employing these persons and keeping them on the show? That's waste of money, and that's waste of talent where you can find someone else to pretty much do the job. I don't know what Janet's personal story is. And now she has a podcast. I don't know who the hell listens to that podcast, but she has nothing personally going on. She's like a doormat. She feels she's just very blah. There's nothing entertaining there. Her tone of voice, everything is just blah. And I think she just tries to play more into this villain role because it gives her the only screen time that she will get on this show. I don't see why are we still invested in this Janet and Jason of it all? Because he's the next one where you heard your wife saying something about a friend that you basically squash. And I understand you will be picking up for your wife, but the response when Kristen said it to you and you were like, I was like, what is going on in these people's mind? Like, are you that invested in making a show in basically losing a friendship that you don't care? I don't get it. It just to me is just so annoying and confusing, and it's something that Bravo needs to look into at this point because we don't need Jax, and I honestly don't need Janet. I would love a show where we can just actually see some positivity. I know it's going to be boring, and I know persons won't tune in, and then it's going to lose its appeal, and then it's probably more like get canceled. But I want a show that's a bit more uplifting and more positivity because this show was built on family, and it seems more of tearing down family at this point. It doesn't seem more like about a family thing. It's more about tearing down families and breaking up families. Brittany and Jax going through their stuff. Now your target's on Danny and Nia. And this is the DNA for most reality shows these days. It's like these shows are built on supposedly showcasing family and stuff like that. But all we do is come into these shows and it's like a script. It is to tear down families and break families up and find rumors and spread rumors and create it's just it's becoming unwatchable at this point. And last night alone just showed me that this show is unbearable to watch, and I don't know where we go from this point. Like, I don't know, Janet. I'm just tired of each week we have to be discussing Janet and Janet this and Janet that. It is becoming annoying at this point, and I would love for Janet to just go somewhere and just get off her screen. But let me know, guys, your thoughts were on the actual episode. Do you believe what Janet said was right? Yes, we know in definition what was done is what she said, but do you believe her saying those words was actually necessary at that point if you were supposedly cool or repaired or apologized, whatever it is? Why would you say something so serious knowing that it would have created this whole mess basically? But are you I think she knows that she's doing that and then pretends like she doesn't know. But let me know, guys, in the comment section your thoughts were on the episode. Remember, guys, to like the video, subscribe, and to comment. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye, y'all.